Welcome to episode 11 of Simon Says. This episode is all about cutting and styling. We've got 3 models, we've got varying lengths. I always put a commercial spin on things because I want to use these looks into the salon as I do every day. Leighton House is the product. We're going to get that into their hair and make some beautiful makeovers. This is model number 3. This is Tamara. So Tamara's got heaps of hair, which is great, you know. But when cutting this, you've got to think about your haircut, because if you cut it all one length, you end up with this big ball. So I really don't want that. I'm sure she doesn't want that. So I'm going to work with a bit of disconnection. It's coming up short, so something around here. It's going to be all shattered out, tuck in behind the ear, but really cool and understated. No strong fringes. It's going to be really loose and textured again, because I think that's really important with thick hair, to decrease the volume a little bit. You know, and then that way they don't have to do the full big blow dry and straight, and they get out of jail with just a messy look, or they can slick it up if they want to. So a lot of hair coming off, really exciting and great to make over Tamara. Okay, so my sectioning pattern with Tamara, I've gone with it's just more of a plan, I guess. I want it to move over that way, but it'll be okay to flip that way as well. I just want it to visually look right, and I get my mind in the set of how things are going to fall. So I'm going to start with this back section. It's just above the occipital bone, so it's quite a big section. And I'm going to cut that to a rough length that I want, and I call it roughing in. I'm just feeling it out until I'm happy with the length, and then I start building my shape. So I'm going to get my outline in there first, and then I'm going to start bringing it out and layering it. What we want to do is to have something versatile to tuck behind the ears, something we can flip either way at the top, layered, you know, around this length. So I think, you know, that's my plan. We've sort of had a few pictures, talk, and what we want to do, and then I work to that, you know. But I always say, you know, don't use it as your blueprint. Make sure that it's pretty loose. You know, let's go around that length. And I use words like, do you want a strong line or a soft line? You know, do you like texture, do you like smooth? And I use all those words in my consultation to get that result. By the end of that talk with people, once they've got pictures, we can go ballpark, this is where we're going to go, and let's work with it as we go. Once you gain their trust, they pretty much will let you do whatever you want, as long as you're talking the same language. So it's really important to get that language right first about length, texture, and how it should sit. Okay, so I've got my length in here. This can change as we go, but I'm happy with this. I want to see it from the front, and I'd like it to slightly kick out. What I'm going to do is just layer this in a little bit. So I'm going to bring this to the previously cut section in the middle, and I'm just going to take that in at a slight angle, so it becomes a little bit of graduation. I'm following the head shape. And this will just help it lay in flat. So this won't connect up with that. It's going to sit over the top of it. So it's sort of like a bit of an undercut disconnection. And as I said in the intro, it's about sort of collapsing the shape a little bit, removing that bulk of the hair. So you've got to get a bit crafty with it and use disconnection for that. One section sitting over the other takes a lot of bulk out. There's a bit of movement in the hair. I think that's going to really work in our favour. I'll just show you this section that I've already cut, and I'm going to drop this top section down. So you can see, I'm just going with this little kick. I really like that. I think it's breaking up really nicely. So I'm going to drop this section over. I'm going to cut it independently to this, but I'm still going to follow the head shape. I want everything to pretty much be head shaped. It's going to be a little rounded number like that, and then to get the leanness, we'll tuck it in behind the ears. So I'm going to make it slightly longer than this. And the reason for that is it takes the weight out and it will collapse the shape in through here. And what that's going to do is kick this hair out. So you're going to have this natural kick. And I think that's really important to feel it out as you go. And I'm seeing the hair dry, and I'm seeing that kick happening, so you've got to adapt to that. So I'm going to take a vertical section. So this is an ear to ear to divide the front section off. I'm just going to measure out where I need to be. Straight up off the head shape, and I point cut that in. Just following the head shape around. And I take that first one as a bit of a tester. I think it's still a little bit long. If you come around, you can see there's great movement there, but it's a little bit disconnected. So I'm going to take that, just that little bit shorter, just so it links in nicely visually. And just following that head shape around. So when I pull that out, I just get this. That's just one section, but it just comes in nice and lean and then kicks that out. So it leans on that to create that, and I really like that. Now the sectioning pattern from here, we're going to take a little bit of that from the center, move that out of the way, and we're going to pie this around like this till we get to that parting. And again, we're going to move back onto the previously cut section. Okay, I'm going to go down to those front sections now, and as I said, this is just a bit of a guide. I'm not going to keep it in that part. I'm going to cut it so it's very even in its distribution, so it could push either way. I just want to sort of see and feel how the hair's going and where it's going. So you can see this movement at the back's working in really well. You know, even if you straighten that out, it's still going to be nice and choppy. You can see this layer hanging over the top of that, just pushes that in a little bit. So when it tucks, you get this little kick out. So I'm going to divide these sections into two, just for the ease of it. All right, so we get to this side section. I want to follow this through here, so I'm just going to break that up, and again it's a bit of a rough in to see what angle I like, but I think I want to lift it up a little bit and I'll let that top section come over it again. So we've got two sections again, and that's going to get rid of that weight. I think if you leave too much length around the face here, when you tuck it in, it's too much. When it's thick hair, it's too much hair for the ear to handle. So it's good to just sort of angle that up there, and then this section will come over that. Just test it in behind the ear there. It's working really well. So use your mirrors, make sure you're sort of seeing that from afar, don't just focus in here. You need to step back every now and then and just have a look at the shape and how that's moving. So balancing that up. I'm just going to get that section and that section in the same place. I've just dropped that top section down. That was this section here. So I broke these two side sections in half, basically. Half, I mean, as an off-centered part. I've gone here to here, so balance that up, and I've layered that in underneath, and then that's tucking in so it comes up like this. It's like a page boy shape, I guess. And then the top's going to hang over that. So I want to rough that in, and then I'm going to cut that down here first. And I'm going to pick that up and layer all this top bit so it's got a bit of flow. So again, it's a rough in. I just want to get that shape feeling right. So I use a really deep point cut. And this time I'm going shorter to longer. So I'm really discarding what's happening underneath. I'm not worrying about it because the hair's thick enough to disguise all of that. Just sliding a little bit of weight out of there before I cut the layers in, because the hair's so thick. I just want to get it feeling right and get it moving, and then I'll layer it in. And that's where, as I said, you don't have a blueprint of what you want. You have a guideline and a rough idea, and you think about the sections you want to do to make it work, and then you adapt as you go. So if I want to take the weight out and let's see how that hair's moving at the side, and then I layer it, that's what you do. Don't be too structured and centered on that. Only way to do it is this way. So I'm just picking the hair up. I've got plenty of angle on this. I'm pulling back to that previously cut section. So it's the same thing as I'm doing underneath, I'm just doing it separately. And that's sitting down here, and you can see that starting to fall away nicely through here and gaining a little bit of length at the front. And if I want to take that off later, I'll just slide it off. I'll get all that shape in first though. What I'll do, like I do with all of my haircuts, is pick everything up and I'll round that off through there. Not square like the guy's cut, just round it off and point cut it, and that's going to just softly layer it. Okay, I've got my shape in, and I'm really happy with this. Like, it just fades up a bit there, and by doing the sections in two, I go up and then one down, and then I'll just slide a bit of that out so it won't be too heavy around the face. But I love how this is sort of kicking out, and then when you tuck it, you know, we get this nice lean shape and it kicks out slightly, so it's not too much hair for the ear to handle. What I want to do is just take off the top, which I do in all my haircuts. So I'll just come across horizontally and pick it up, and you should always have the two shortest points in here. And the thicker the hair, the more rustic I am with the point cut, because I want this hair to move. I'm cutting the hair that way, we're releasing the weight, and it naturally will move if there's natural wave in there. Projecting back onto that previously cut section as well. So I'm going to slice out a little bit of weight. It's still just damp, and then I'm going to dry it, and then we'll really personalise this haircut. So we'll come in and just take that little bit more weight out, and it will be all done. My product choice is control cream. So this is a prime example of how control cream works. It's really quite thick hair, and I think as it dries, it would keep going like this. So this is exactly what this product does. Helps control the hair, it gives it a lovely sheen, but my brush is going to just glide through it. So it's not cluggy, it doesn't build up. It's a really beautiful product. I do love cutting with it, but I thought I'd put it in at this point today because there is so much hair, and I really wanted to see how it was reactive. And then I'm going to apply my product. We're going to blast it dry, and I'll get the straightener out and just take a little bit of girth out of it, and then give it a little kick here and there. And then we're going to finish up with this little cocktail of product. We're going to go with the flexible pomade, and we're going to go with the luminous oil. So we're going to mix these together. It's a little cocktail mix. So really great for high shine, so really beautiful luster on the hair. And then this will give it the flexibility and piece the hair out, but it takes that fluffiness away. So really great product combo. And I think it's really important to rethink that before you get to this point. So you should have got to get that journey even at the consultation. Where am I going to go with the product usage? Because that will make the difference. And I think, you know, if you send them out like this, they're going to feel fluffy and not great. So I think the product thing is really important. And if we prescribe the right ones, we're going to get happy clients that are going to come back and keep buying that product. So let's get it all the way through the hair. I never start at the front, I always start at the thickest part of the hair, and then start working it through as you get a little bit less on your hands. Really work it in though. Pull it in a ponytail so it goes in there, in underneath. And then comb it through with the wide teeth. You can see that there, it's really easy to comb through. It's not catching at all, and does give the hair a lovely sheen before you even blow dry it. So I just want to polish the hair up a little bit and straighten it. I think it's really important to do all the elements, so it doesn't take a long time, but I'll use a round brush, and then we're just going to smooth the mid-lengths and ends, and then just get it kicking the right way. I'll kick it out slightly at the back, and then when I come in with the hair straighteners, I'm pretty much not going to straighten every hair. I'm just going to take the girth out and say do every second section, so it sort of feels like there's some hair and movement. I don't want things to stick straight and flat. So round brushing, slow brush, lots of tension, and just go all the way and through to the ends. Don't neglect the ends, because they're really got to get polish on the ends like this. So the roots are already dry. You're just coming down with plenty of heat, moving the dryer down the hair shaft, and then just slowly going through all the way to the ends. You get a slight bend on that, but it gets polish, and that's what you want to do. You've got to do it with purpose. Underneath, it's a big section. I'm just going to roll that out, and I'm just going to give that just an ever slight kick. So just manipulating the hair where you want it. So under at the sides, slightly out at the back. Then this next section is quite a big section again, because the hair's dry at the roots. All I'm going to do is pick that up, and I'm going to go under. Just slowly moving through the hair, lots of tension on the hair, and polish that off. You can see what that does, it just decreases it, lots of heat. I'm just giving it a bit of a press with the irons now, and I'm not really doing the root area, just the mid-lengths and ends, so it is just a press. You know, just to give that just a bit thinner toward the ends. I really want to keep that, what we've blow dried in there, I don't want to take that away. I think sometimes that happens too much and it just sits flat and straight, whereas I want it to move, it should move. Just section by section, and then just let the comb sort of go first, just to get those ends in the right order, and then through in 1 to 2 presses, don't keep going over it. Don't move too fast, I guess. That's the key to a good straighten. And always keep that iron moving, don't stop it. All right, I just want to tweak the haircut now. And what I say tweak is just, I'm pretty done. I just want to just take a bit of this bulk out of here. So I'm just going to use a deep point cutting technique. And when I'm just removing weight, I don't want to take any length off, so I don't go in I go on a sharper angle. I nearly go in vertically, just so I'm taking little V's out, and that will take the weight out of that midsection. If you go in on an angle like this, you take length off. I don't want to do that. I've already cut the hair. And through the back here where it does get a little bit thicker, hair traditionally is a little bit thicker toward the back, just lift it up with the scissor, comb it out, tap it in, and just take the channels out that way. I'll help that lay that in a little bit flatter. All the shapes there, it's really nice, it just needs a bit of bulk out of that midsection. Welcome to cocktail hour, here we go. We've got flexible pomade and aluminum oil. So what we're gonna do is mix them together, just 1 little pump of this. I don't want too much of it. And then I like to just dip my finger into this and get about that amount. Especially on this length hair, you don't want too much product on the hair. And then just a little, 1 pump. Yep, so I've got the 2 products there. I'm gonna mix them together. What that's going to do is give it just that ultimate shine. Just punch it up a little bit, but it's still got the flexible hold. It's quite nice on my hands. And then I just want to run it through the hair. So literally break up everything that you've just done. Here I polished it and now I'm just going to bust it up, but you've got to make it to break it, and then it'll be beautiful. If you don't do that, or you skip a step, it doesn't hold. So you really got to take the moment to go straight, really work on the blow drying techniques and then apply your product. So this could be a look like that, tucked in behind the ears, quite nice, or it could be really loose and outside. Let these kick out a little bit. You can see the product just breaks the hair up, takes that really fluffy feel away from it. Quite like the idea of one side tucked. I'm going to put a bit of spray in. We're going to use some session style. It's a flexible hairspray and it's a medium hold, which I love because it is flexible. You can keep moving it around. It's not setting it like a lacquer and it's not harmful to the environment. So ticks all the boxes for me. So just a little bit of a mist over it. It's a really fine mist all the way through. Smells great. And just let that settle into the hair. I'm not really going to touch that now. I'm just going to sort of let that be. I'm pretty happy with the shape. Wow, what a makeover. Look at Tamara, totally new person. So if you remember, we had hair to here, very thick. We've come in, we've done a little disconnected, shattered out, medium length haircut that I'm really, really happy with, and I hope she is too.
Love it.
One side tucked, and it's a bit of a product story. So we did our cocktail of luminol oil and the flexible pomade, and I think that's the trick. The little bit of spray at the end just holds it all together. But I think it's a challenging haircut, but it's something if you break it down, you could change it to fine hair, curly hair, and it obviously works on thick hair. And the disconnection is the key by doing 2 layers of it and collapsing the shape so it's not a big ball. So natural form, I think it'll be beautiful, but I really love it with that little bit of a straighten off and it shows off the little shattered ends. So I hope you love this episode as much as I love doing it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.